Good morning. Welcome back to another edition of Gary's Movie Emporium. Today is a Wild Eye releasing review for the movie Impact Event, starring Margaret O'Brien, Michael Berryman, Richard Grieco, and Vernon Wells. Although I will say Michael Berryman in this very limitedly, so I really don't know why he's on the cover. I know a knock on anything marketing wise, but I just don't think he should have been on the cover, honestly. I love Michael Berryman, but if he's not going to be in it any more than that, then I don't know if I would have put him on the cover because I felt like the other actors like Richard Grieco and let's see here, Jed Rowan. Some of the other main characters here deserve their accolades. But to get started on the review, the movie is from 2018, an hour and 42 minutes. It says it was released on December 8th, 2018. Basically, what's going on is it's a band of survivors. They find themselves spending an apocalyptic time down in a funhouse called in the movie they called it a CO2 smokehouse. So, well, how it starts out is there's an Australian Research Institute. Sorry about that, I got a fly flying around here. Australian Research Institute, where a man named Uncle Ed is. Well, that's not his name, but he's an uncle, and they refer to it in there. So I didn't really get the last name, so we'll go with Uncle Ed. He works. I guess he must work for like a NASA type company, and he's a space research kind of guy, monitoring anything that's coming close into Earth's atmosphere. And it's being reported that the meteor named Robert's meteor is going to enter Earth's atmosphere, but it's supposed to pass through. And it turns out that the numbers have been doctored, and then in the meantime, it's going to be making an impact with Earth. They just don't know how bad. They're saying total devastation, and that nothing will survive, not even bacteria. But then later on, it's reported that it's not quite as massive as, or not that it's not massive, but it's reported that it's not going to be as devastating as once thought. But in the meantime, it's about a group of people that are trying to set up a bunker, and I don't know. One point it was referred to as Xanadu. It's a fallout shelter that was prepped for such a disaster, such as like a meteor shower. They don't really know how well it will hold up though, because it's never, obviously never been tested. They do call it the CO2 smokehouse in this as well. Uh, and then before it all gets to where they go into the fallout shelter, um, there's one of the group goes into town to get supplies because she's hearing bad things going on, with Earth coming to a possible end. She goes into town and she snatches some batteries, and in the meantime, she comes back and she's been shot and had the batteries taken. And people are rioting and looting, and there's martial law just over the disaster, which makes no sense to me to loot, especially if the Earth's coming to an end. I mean, if it really is kind of going to come to an end, then batteries or anything like that's not really going to do you much good. Let's see, kind of gives me that Night of the Comet vibes as well. Like there's a part in there where they're dressing up and kind of dressing up like the part in Night of the Comet, where they're like looking at themselves in the mirror when they're wearing these fancy out of date clothes and kind of like zany looking clothes in the scene. Um, then about the hour mark, Michael Berryman comes in it, like I say, and it just kind of seems like once he comes in, after he leaves his scene, this movie heads in an entire different direction. Like I loved the first hour, but for some reason I got kind of lost with it after the first hour. Not that it was a bad thing, but it took a total different direction and kind of killed the flow of the movie for me a little bit. I didn't dislike it. I loved about three quarters of it, and uh, like I said, Michael Berryman was in it so very little. There's a part in there where these prisoners get loose and they've turned cannibal, and in the meantime, our preppers here are getting ready to buckle down, and then a couple of them kind of start raving mad and dress up in clown makeup and start pulling out the weaponry. And that's when it starts to fall off the track for me a little bit. Not that it was a bad way to go, but it didn't take advantage of their stars really all that much. Like Richard Grieco wasn't in it very much. Michael Berryman, I wish was in it a little more. I mean, I know they were on a constrained budget, but it said on Richard Grieco's hat that he was wearing that he was special ops. So I just wonder how true that is in this movie, or if he just got the hat, or. But it looked like to me he was a special ops, like he used to be former military. Um, there was a bunch of prisoners, as I said. They went cannibal, and it looked like to me if you weren't with them in that prison when they broke loose, then you were to be eaten. A number of them get sick along the way because they've been exposed too long to the radiation. Doesn't look like the radiation in the movie is overly fatal too much, though, if you can, kind of stay out of it somewhat. But if you're exposed to it directly, you're more than likely gonna die because a couple of the guys started showing signs of radiation poisoning. But my final part of this, I'm gonna talk about in this. The message I got from this movie was that once a disaster like this were to happen, it's just a shame that humankind can be so evil. And really, I think this is a test sometimes in these movies, whether we deserve to survive as a race. Because, it's just that this was I don't know, a lot of people became really dark. Like, there was a scene early on in the movie where a girl unnecessarily got shot that I didn't see the reason for it. I mean, I did to a degree, but like the woman said, they could have did other things, and it just started showing like people losing their minds, like just over the end of the world. I mean, it kind of reminded me of the COVID stuff that broke out like 5 6 months back. It's just unnecessary. We need to, you know. I know this isn't about a message, but this movie kind of hit a little close to home with the pandemic and everything. But I like this movie. I would have liked it a little more if it would have had a more even pace by the end. I just felt like it was like two different movies. It started out a disaster film and then turned into a shoot 'em up movie kind of, and I didn't really like that part about it, but a majority of it was good. And I really liked it up until after Michael Berryman's part left. But after that, it kind of was fair. It was, I don't know. I just didn't like the clown thing. I didn't understand it. I kind of like I mean, I kind of get they went mad and they had to take out these raiders or whatever they were referring to them as, scavengers. But that's my review. I would probably give this about mm, probably about a 6.5. I think it currently rates at 2.8. That's pretty badly low. There's nothing in it that made it that bad. You could do better for like post apocalyptic movies, but you could also do a lot worse. So it's probably somewhere in the middle of the pack with me. But I would definitely give it a thumbs up, but not two, not a thumb and a half. But like fellow reviewer said, he goes that he liked a lot of things about this, but then there's a lot he didn't. I'm kind of on that in that territory with him on it, so I kind of see what he means. So that's my review on Impact Event, and I'm not sure what I have coming up next, but I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you in the next Wild Eye releasing review. See you later, guys. Bye.